All right, so can all the ladies in this room please raise their hands? Up high. Okay, I'm glad to see that big of a number around here. But on my first day at university, as I entered my first class, that was not the case. As I sat in class and as it started filling up, I didn't notice it at first. But as I looked around, I did. Out of 40 students in that class, there was only one girl other than myself. One science class after the other, that same pattern was repeated. So I come from Beirut, Lebanon, and I'm currently studying computer engineering. And I've always developed an interest in both technology and women empowerment for the past years, and participated in several national and international events through high school about that topic. However, I didn't personally realize the gravity of the situation until I entered university. Now, looking back at why that is there, I could go back to my childhood. So, as I look back into my childhood, I realized that as we grow up, girls in my country are more encouraged to go and draw, color, sing, play with dolls. Boys, on the other hand, are encouraged to play with cars, play video games, or even tinker with machinery with their fathers. And as statements in my country go, which are very popular, have you ever seen a girl on a construction field when talking with a civil female engineer? Or a woman ruling us, what a joke, when they talk about female political involvement. And my personal favorite, a statement that I was told by an IT employee last year: you seriously think a girl's mind can understand programming as much as a guy can? And so these statements made me think a lot. When you look at how the issue is dealt with on an international scale, female empowerment in technology is pretty big right now, and several US institutions are dealing with this. According to studies in the States, schools and nonprofit organizations have been able to increase the number of girls in advanced science classes by 50%. Lebanon, on the other hand, hasn't even recognized the importance and the presence of this issue, mostly due to outdated educational systems or the public's mentalities, which we previously discussed before. So as I sat and thought about the issue, I realized that how it should be dealt with was like the US-based models which are currently working, from the problem's roots, from schools, which is what sparked the initiation of AllGirlsCode. Now, AllGirlsCode is an initiative that I co-founded with a friend of mine called I Am Alim last spring in 2017. And in it, we provide girls with both technical and non-technical skills to develop as female technology leaders in Lebanon, in the region, and in the world. To do that, we started last summer our first tech immersion summer camp at the American University of Beirut. And what we did was that over 3 days, and the first 2 days, girls were learning programming, robotics, and algorithms, along with several other non-technical skills such as public speaking and leadership. And on the third day, they used all of these skills in order to go through a simulated hackathon where they targeted a problem in Lebanon and represented its solution through a website. And the feel that you got through those 3 camps ranged from extreme happiness, extreme happiness. So what I saw was, on the first day, you enter and see girls from all over Lebanon sitting and not talking to one another because they do not know one another. On the third day, you see girls exchanging their contacts, laughing, and forming lasting friendships. What we also saw was on the hackathon day, I tried to enter one of the classes, and the girls were pushing me outside. They didn't want us or the team to get a look at what they're working at because they wanted to surprise us with what they developed over that day on the final jury time. And so that excitement that we saw fueled us and made us organize a second event in the winter. And on the second event, we ran more or so the same process, the same workshops, different levels, of course, different material, but the same structure of technical and non-technical workshops. We even got Miss Lebanon to attend and give the girls a pep talk about the importance of female empowerment in the region in general and in Lebanon in specific. And in that event, we had girls as young as 10 years old attend and learn. And we had girls coming from all the regions in Lebanon, from both privileged and underprivileged communities, and from refugee communities as well. And so, other than these camps, we wanted to keep this a sustainable issue and to provide the girls with the holistic approach to learning. And what we decided to do was start several platforms and several other networks that they could benefit from as the year goes on. So what we did, we started something called Round of Applause, where girls are encouraged to tell about one another's successes or themselves, and this success is shared with the entire group. What we also did was start a Step Equals Step Plus One project, which is something where girls are able to ask questions about career advancement, about university, major questions, and these questions are answered by people from, by female engineers and by university students who are competent as well. We also moved to starting the Mentor++ network, where girls are connected to mentors from the entrepreneurship world and from female engineering also perspective world. And lastly, we started what we called the AllGirlsCode Connect, which is a platform where girls are continuously supplied with internship, volunteering, and scholarship opportunities so that they continuously can learn and advance. And so, coming to what we're doing currently, in August, we'll be doing our second version of our summer technology camp. And it's going to run at the same time, the same process, but of course with different materials. We opened registration less than a week ago. And up until now, we have 30 attendees, and we've already partnered with national organizations in order to ensure the presence of 50% of attendees from refugee camps and underprivileged communities. Considering the number of students that we get, that is going to be approximately 50 to 70 students from these communities who will have access to this opportunity. And, shall I say, our camps are always free of charge in order to target girls from all economical backgrounds. And they run as well on zero budget, so they run on the work of our volunteers who are bringing so much of their time to make this happen. And so the numbers that we got through our analysis showed us that what we're doing is actually working. So in our first technology camp, 70% of our attendees had no prior exposure to technology when talking about coding. And by the end of the camp, 75% of attendees stated that the camp encouraged them to go into the technical field. And 90% of our participants got into engineering majors after they graduated over the past year. And these students came up to me, some of them even go currently to my university, and they were like, we want to give back to this, we want to be instructors, and we want to help students in the current cohort that's going to be taking place this summer. And so we also got recognition from several national and international partnerships in Lebanon, ranging from local Google chapters, from Stanford's C++ program, from Lebanon's Prime Minister office, and the list goes on. And I'm talking about this recognition because it shows us that this has been much needed in Lebanon, yet has not been focused on properly. And these recognitions and these partnerships know that this will push the future of the female representation in Lebanon in the tech field. So, to sum it up, I want to end with something that Sheryl Sandberg says, which is that it's long overdue for a woman and for us to encourage women to dream the possible dream. As more girls enter the tech field, as they dig deeper, as they try to solve harder problems, and as they assume roles that were previously held to be for men, or they stand up for people who still tell them that these roles are for men, as all of this happens, the region's economical, social, and gender dynamics is going to change. AllGirlsCode, in essence, want to bridge that gap between girls who want to achieve but don't have the means to get introduced to these skills. And as Reshma Saujani, who founded Girls Who Code a few years ago in the United States, one of the organizations that has been heavily working on getting girls into coding, I want the next generation of Mark Zuckerbergs and Jack Dorseys to be women and to be girls. And with our collaborative effort in this, I know they will be. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.